Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how to work out the mean, mode and median given a set of data. And we're going to explore two different sets of data. In the first one we're going to look at data having a frequency of 1, meaning it's a data set but we didn't put it in a frequency table. Whereas in the second one we're going to look at an example whereby you have it in the table, you have a class interval with different frequencies attached to the different class intervals. And we're also going to check how we can work out the standard deviation, meaning I'm going to show you how to apply the standard deviation formula as well. So first let's start with the first data set. So in the first data set we've got 4, 4, 6 and then number 7 3 times. Then 9 and 10. So in total you have 8 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 numbers, and the question is that you need to find the measures of central tendency. So you need to find the mean, mode and the median. Alright, so the mode is the number having the highest frequency. So here you can clearly see that number 7 occurs 3 times, whereas number 4 you have 2 number 4. So number 7 has the highest frequency, so we can already know that the mode is 7 because it has a frequency of 3. It occurs 3 times. So that's an easy one to find. The mean also is not difficult to find, so the mean is the sum of x divided by n. So sigma means sum, so you need to add all the numbers. So it's 4 plus 6 plus 7, 7, 7, 9 and 10 added, and then you have 8 numbers in total. So that would be 6.75. Alright, so the mean is 6.75. Now when it comes to the median is the middle number. There are 2 ways of doing it. You can try to actually work it out visually. You try to locate the median, or you can use the formula. So here we have an even number of numbers. So you have 8 numbers. The formula is usually n plus 1 divided by 2th because it gives you the rank. So it's 8 plus 1 divided by 2 because we have 8 numbers. It's 9 divided by 2th, which gives you 4.5. So it's the 4.5 number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 4th number is a 7. The 5th number also is a 7. So it's 7 plus 7 divided by 2. Which is 14 divided by 2, which is a 7. So the median is a 7. If you try to do it visually now, I'm going to try to do it here for you. 4, 4, 6, 7, 7, 7, 9, and 10. If you try to do it visually, so usually you eliminate 1 in the higher tail and 1 in the lower tail till you can actually center the data set. I cancel 1 here, another 1 here, another 1 here. Another 1 here, 1 here, and you're left with the 2 7s in the middle. So the median will be 7 plus 7 divided by 2, which is once again 7. So that's how you work it out manually. All right, if you have a data set which is not in a table here. What can also happen is that you can get a data set with different intervals. So that's what we're going to explore in the second example now. So in the second example, we're going to have data whereby they are in an interval, and you basically have a frequency table given to you, and that's actually quite a common question. So let's say we have a class interval of 0 to 10, and then we'll also have a frequency. So from 0 to 10, the frequency is 5. So that's f, and that's interval. Okay, that's the titles. And then for 10 to 20, you have a frequency of 15. And then from 20 to 30, you have a frequency of 25. So let's say that's the data we're dealing with. We have a class interval, and then we have a frequency also. to find the mean for this data set, we actually use the formula sum of fx over sum of f. So if you have a frequency table, you need to use this formula. So we need to take the frequency multiplied to the x value, which is the interval here, and then we need to sum that. Now, the problem we have here is that the x is not a value, but it's an interval. So every time you're actually working with an interval, to find the x value, or to use the x value, you need to take the midpoint. So the midpoint of 0 to 10 is actually 5. It's 0 plus 10 divided by 2. The midpoint of 10 to 20 is actually 15. And then the middle of 20 to 30 is actually 25. So we have the midpoint, which will be the x here, and the frequency we have. So what's left to do is working out the fx value, because we need to find the fx value. So the x is actually the interval, but we're taking the midpoint as a single value to use for the calculation. So we're going to take x and multiply it to the f. So that's 5 times 5, 25. It's 15 times, sorry, I made a mistake here. The frequency should be 8 here. Let me just adjust that. It's actually swapped it to different intervals. So it's 5, 8, and 7 as frequency. So we're working out the sum of fx. So we're taking the f and multiplying to the x. It's 5 times 5, 25. 8 times 15, okay, which is 120. And then 25 times 7, which is 175. So this gives us the fx values. But what we need to do is we need to find the sum of fx values. So you need to add all the different fx values. So if you add all the fx values, so 25 plus 120 plus 175, if you add all of that, you get 320. And if you add all the f values, because we need to find sum of f in the denominator, so 5 plus 8 plus 7, you get 20. So 5 plus 8 plus 7. So the mean becomes 320 divided by 20, which is 16. All right. So that's how you work out the mean if you have a frequency table. Okay. So the formula is sum of f times x. If you have x as a single value in your frequency table, you can just use it. If it's in an interval, you find the midpoint, which we did here. So 0 plus 10 divided by 2, 5, 10 plus 20 divided by 2, 15, 20 plus 30 divided by 2, 25. That becomes the x. Then the f is the frequency. Then the formula says that you need to do f times x. So you multiply the f to the x, and then you get fx. So 5 times 5 here, 8 times 15, 7 times 25. You add them because you need to find the sum of fx. Then in the denominator you have sum of f, so you add all the frequencies, then you use the formula. All right. So that was actually how you find the mean if you have a group data. Now all of that can actually be done with the calculator, and there's going to be a separate video which will show you how to do all these things with the calculator. But the manual way of doing it also is important so that you understand the techniques. So what I'm going to show you now is how to work out the standard deviation manually. So I'm going to refer to the first data set, which was this one, and then I'm going to actually write the formula for you. So there exists actually two different formula. The first one is this one, which can be found on the formula booklet. And then the one which I actually prefer is this one, sum of x squared over n minus sum of x over n to the square. This one is actually simpler to use, and that's the one I prefer. So if you look at the formula, it's actually asking you to find a couple of different things. You need to find the sum of x squared, you need to find the sum of x, and the n is the data set, how many numbers you have, which is 8 in this case. So the n we already know. The sum of x squared will be, you need to take each x you square and then you do the sum of it. So it's 4 squared plus 4 squared plus 6 squared plus 7 squared plus 7 squared plus 7 squared plus 9 squared plus 10 squared. And that will give you 396. Okay, so you take each number in the data set, you square and you add. And then the sum of x will be, you sum all the x's. So you add all the numbers, 4 plus 4 plus 6, plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 10. That gives you 54. So we have the sum of x squared, we have the sum of x. Now you just plug in the formula. So it's root of 396 divided by n, which is 8 minus 54 over 8 to the square, and that gives you 3 root of 7 divided by 4 if you do it on your GDC. All right, so that's how we work out the measures of central tendency of a data set, which is just a data set which is not in a frequency table. And then we explored how we worked out the mean if you have a grouped if you have a group frequency table, so with intervals and different frequencies. And now I just showed you how to work out the standard deviation using the formula. The first formula is a bit more tedious to work with because you actually need to do the sum of the x minus the x bar to the square, which is a bit longer and more tedious to find, because what you'll need to do is you first need to find the mean of the data set. So you need to add all of them, divide. So we worked out the mean and we got 6.75 from the previous question. So if you had to use this one, you'll need to basically do x minus x bar and square each one. So the mean was 6.75 from the previous question. So you'll need to do 4 minus 6.75 to the square and add that to, once again, 4 minus 6.75 to the square. And then you take the third one, 6 minus 6.75 to the square. And you do that for each number. You add them, you divide by 8, and then you do square root. So you can see that it's a bit more tedious than the formula we just used. And this is why I actually prefer the second formula and not the first one, if you had to work it out manually. Obviously, I'm also going to show you how to do that on the GDC.